Stacy, have you studied up Miami at all?
I have a little bit. Of course, Rhett Lashley has history with Alabama. Of course, he was an
That's
offensive
right.
coordinator at Auburn. So, you know, that kind of I believe kind of gives him a little bit of an advantage, not an advantage, but he has a little bit of a leg up compared to OCs who haven't played Nick Saban and the Alabama defense. But I haven't done a ton of studying there. Is De'Aaron King back? I believe he is, right? Or what's this? I've heard mixed reviews on De'Aaron King.
De'Aaron King is back. He just tore his ACL against Oklahoma State in the bowl game.
Okay.
So he's rehabbing right now, and all signs indicate that he'll be ready to go by July. The only thing is that like he tore his ACL, so he's just rehabbing. He's not taking snaps, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
that's really what the issue is. And your first game is against Alabama, so it's a rude awakening once you get back from rehab.
Right. Well, here's what the last see Nick Saban's been in Alabama. I don't know 14 years or so. This is either his 14th year or his 15th year. I can't remember, but uh, what it takes to beat Alabama. And you kind of talked about how you have to play pretty much a perfect game. The truth is Alabama's got to help you a little bit. They're going to have to turn the ball over, commit some penalties, but also the other team's quarterback has to play. I don't
Yeah.
want to say the game of his life, but one of the best games that he can play. He has to, play, an A-plus game to beat
Yeah.
Alabama. And you look back, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton, Joe Burrow. Those are the type of performance. Deshaun Watson at Clemson, Trevor
Johnny
Lawrence at Clemson.
Johnny Manziel's game against
Absolutely,
Alabama. I remember that one. That was his
yeah.
Heisman game, in my
Right,
opinion.
it was, and that's the type of performances that the
Yeah.
opposing quarterback has to have, and De'Aaron King is capable of that. So, to me, De'Aaron King, if he's back to the old De'Aaron King from his injury, he's the type of player that kind of gives the Alabama defense fits. So if he's on top of his game, if Bryce Young commits a couple turnovers, we could have an interesting game there in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, yeah. No, I 100% agree. And I think it'll be, it'll be turnovers on Bryce Young where it kind of self-inflicted. And I think maybe mentally get in the head of Bryce Young because this is going to be a tough game for him,
Yeah,
in my
it
opinion.
is. I mean, the truth is Miami's got some talent. They got some athletes on their team. Uh, Manny Diaz is a guy that you know coaches good defensive football, so he's going to have a scheme up for Bryce and throw some things at him that Bryce probably hasn't seen before, especially being his first start. So it's going to be interesting. And the offensive line, I don't know. You're not an Alabama fan, so you don't remember, but a couple years ago, it was Tua's junior season. We were kind of breaking in a couple new offensive linemen when we played Duke to start the game, to start the season in
Yeah.
Atlanta, and the offense really struggled
Yep.
for about 2.5 quarters in that game because the offensive line was just not in sync because there was so many new guys. They were actually rotating guys about every other possession to try to find the right mix of guys on the field. And if that happens, Miami could sneak up on Alabama there in that first game.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And if I'm Bill O'Brien, I'm gonna do like you said, run an RPO offense, but I think a power run heavy offense, in my opinion, kind
Yeah.
of beat Miami on the ground. And the thing that sucks, Stacy, is that this past season, Miami had two edge rushers in going in the NFL draft. We actually
Right.
had three overall drafted. Rousseau and Phillips went first round. So I wish we had him back this year, but obviously, if you go in the first round, you got to go. But
Right.
I think our D line, on the outside, our edge rushers aren't going to be as strong. Our interior is going to be better, but I don't know if it's up to par with an Alabama offensive line. So I'm curious who's going to win that battle of the trenches, or how long it will take for Alabama to adjust if that's a position unit of concern. So we'll see.
Right. And it's been the same old story since since they started playing football. Whoever wins the line of scrimmage is going to win the game. So
Right.
if Alabama can come out and kind of impose their will in the running game, it'll probably be a long day for Miami. But like I said, the new starters along the offensive line, and I say three new starters, it's kind of 2.5 because the starting center will be Chris Owens, who's played a lot of football. He'll be a fifth-year senior. He started probably around 10 or 15 games throughout his career. So he's technically a new starter this year with Landon Dickerson gone, but he's played a lot of football. Of course, Evan Neal is back. He's going to
Yep.
move from right tackle to left tackle. Probably will be the first offensive tackle taken in next year's draft.
Nice.
So he's a talented guy there at 6'7", around 360, just a massive human being. And Emil Ekiyor will be back as one of the guards. He's an experienced guy, but he's been out all spring. Chris Owens has been out all spring with injuries. So, like you talked about with De'Aaron King being out, not being able to take reps, a lot of offensive linemen for Alabama have been, just kind of rehabbing this offseason. So, getting back into football shape will be huge for those guys, and then building that continuity up front on the offensive line.